video is going to be on right triangle trigonometry. Before we begin, I want you to go ahead and try this warm-up. Just do it on a scratch sheet of paper. You can use the W method or you can use the ratios. Pause the video, and then after you get your solution, you can play the video and the solutions will be available for you. All right, here are your solutions. Notice that no matter what method you use, if you use your ratios or if you use your W method, you are going to get the same solutions. Remember, when you do the W method, do not forget that you need to put that bar, or you need to put the number of the hypotenuse. You will need your 8.2 notes right now. I usually tell this story to help you remember what the ratios are. There's an acronym to help you remember the trig ratios, and this story usually helps students remember the ratios, or the acronym anyway. Once upon a time, there was a poor girl on a farm. Her name was Wilma, and she lived all alone. She lived a humble life that didn't involve too much change. Each day, she tended to her onion and carrot garden and ended each day with her favorite passion, dancing. Meanwhile, up at the castle, Prince Fred was wondering what the rest of the world was like. He hopped on his steed and set out to find out what others in the kingdom did with their days. He made his rounds and bumped into a million different people, but nothing made much of an impression with him until he heard a sound. He rode over to Wilma's cottage and listened to the unfamiliar rhythm. He knocked on the door and asked her what she was doing. She explained that she was dancing to music. He asked her if she would be willing to teach him how to dance, and she accepted immediately. Fred was very slow at learning how to dance. It appeared that no matter how hard Wilma tried to get him into the right step, he would somehow lose the beat and wind up stepping on her big toe. After his lesson, he asked her if she would mind if he came back for another lesson. Needless to say, the dancing lessons went on and they fell in love. Prince Fred proposed to Wilma, who accepted. King Fred and Queen Wilma continued their dancing hobby every Friday night. The only problem for Queen Wilma was that no matter how hard she tried to teach King Fred, he remained terribly clumsy. Thus, whenever they went dancing, he would always step on Queen Wilma's big toe. Queen Wilma learned to live with this slight flaw in her true love relationship. But this big toe stomping was no laughing matter. So each Saturday morning after one of their big dancing dates, Wilma would walk down to her favorite pond. At the pond, she would sit and soak her big toe until the swelling went down. As the years passed by, the whole kingdom would watch the king and queen's ritual dancing and soaking in delight. Even after the king and the queen died, their love story lived on in the hearts of the kingdom. So the big picture here is that the prince kept stepping on the queen's big toe. Well, after a night of dancing, she would go and soak her big toe. So that's one way that we can remember our trig ratios: sine, cosine, and tangent. And to do that, we are going to use the acronym SOHCAHTOA, which kind of reminds you of soak your toe. Sine is not pronounced sin, it's just sine. On a calculator, you're going to see SIN. To find sine of an angle or of a ratio, you are going to use the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Now, these ratios only work for right triangles. So if you want to find the sine, you're going to use the opposite side over the hypotenuse. For cosine, this is not pronounced cos, it's just cosine. To find the cosine of an angle, you're going to do the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So that is what the A and the H mean. Same with the sine, that's what the O and the H means, opposite over hypotenuse. And for tangent, we say tan. To find tangent, we are going to say opposite over adjacent. And the O and the A are going to help you remember that it's opposite over adjacent. So get those written down in your notes because you will be needing those in just a minute. Now let's look at the definitions of these words. I know these are not on your sheet, but just make sure that you understand what I'm talking about when I talk about opposite adjacent on a hypotenuse. Hypotenuse should be very familiar to you. The hypotenuse is this side. that's across from the 90-degree angle. Now it's always our longest side as well. The adjacent side. So if I'm talking about angle A, the adjacent side to angle A is going to be the side that's right next to the angle. You can also think of it as part of the angle. It's a ray of the angle. So the adjacent side is going to be this side right here. Opposite, so if we're talking about the opposite of angle A, this is this side, so if you draw an arrow, it's opposite of your angle. If you were to draw an angle, or an arrow, this is going to be the opposite side of angle A. So using those definitions, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go ahead and practice on these 4 problems in your notes, identifying which one is the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. When you are done, you can play the video and see if you have your answers correct. Let's do the first example together so then you kind of know what you're doing. So we're talking about angle B, and we want to identify the hypotenuse, the adjacent side, and the opposite side to angle X or angle B. The hypotenuse is always the easiest one. It's always across from your 90-degree angle. It's always your diagonal or longest side. The adjacent side is going to be the one that's connecting to the angle or helping create the angle. So this side is going to be in my adjacent. And then AC is opposite of that angle, so that one is going to be the opposite side. So again, pause the video, continue working on the other 3 examples, and then play the video and check your work. Here are your solutions. We're now going to use SOHCAHTOA, so remember this acronym, to figure out the ratios of these angles. So I'm going to look at angle A. So we're looking at this angle right here. Let's go ahead and identify the hypotenuse, the opposite side, and the adjacent. So the hypotenuse is pretty easy. That's 13. It's the diagonal. It's across from 90 degrees. The opposite side is going to be opposite angle A, so that's going to be 12. And the adjacent side is always creating that angle. So 5 will be my adjacent. So using our acronym, the sine of angle A is going to be the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Well, we already identified the opposite side, that was 12. And we already identified the hypotenuse, which was 13. So the ratio is going to be 12 over 13. Let's talk about cosine. Same angle. Cosine, it's ca, so adjacent over hypotenuse. We are going to do 5 over 13. So that is going to be your ratio for cosine of angle A. And then for tangent of angle A, this is TOA, so it would be opposite over adjacent. And we are going to use 12 over 5. So that's for angle A. These ratios are going to change a little bit when we use angle B. So let's go ahead and erase all that. And we are now going to look at angle B. We're looking at this angle. Again, the hypotenuse will stay the same because it's always across from the 90 degrees. It's always the longest side. The opposite of angle B now is 5. And the adjacent of angle B, it's the one that's helping create that angle, is going to be 12. So let's go ahead. Remember, sine of B is going to be so, which opposite over hypotenuse, which we already identified as 5 over 13. Cosine is ca. We identified the adjacent side to be 12 and the hypotenuse to be 13. And then tangent is TOA. So then we're going to have the opposite side over the adjacent. So we have 5 over 12. If you want to try another one, or if you want to try one on your own, if you think you've got it, go ahead and do number 2. Just pause the video. Otherwise, we are going to just do this one together. This symbol right here is called the alpha symbol. We are going to find the sine, cosine, and tangent of alpha using our ratios. So if we have alpha, side 3 is going to be your adjacent side. Side square root of 7 is going to be your opposite side. And 4 is going to be your hypotenuse. So remember, sine is so opposite over hypotenuse. So you're going to have the square root of 7 over 4. Cosine of alpha, so ka, is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent we identified as 3 and hypotenuse was 4. And tangent, or toa, was opposite over adjacent, which we identified those to be the square root of 7 over 3. I'm going to just copy these over for quick. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we are going to find the sine of beta, the cosine of beta, and the tangent of, whoops, it's theta. So we're going to look at this angle now. So all of our sides are going to change, except our hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse is still going to be 4. Adjacent is going to be this side, square root of 7, because it's helping create that angle. 3 is going to be the opposite side, because it's across from that theta. And again, hypotenuse is 4. So let's go ahead and figure out these ratios. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 3 over 4. Adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine, so we're going to have the square root of 7 over 4. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now remember, we cannot keep a radical in the denominator, so we need to actually rationalize. So this becomes 3 square root of 7 all over 7. That is all I have for the video. You are, on your notes, if you look at the bottom of the front page, there is a clicker quiz and there's 18 questions. I want you to practice figuring out what the sine, cosines, and tangents are of certain angles given a right triangle. Answer choices are provided to you on the slide, and then when you are done working like 1 through 6, just pause the video or play the video, and then it's going to go to the next slide for you. When you're working on 1 through 6, go ahead and pause the video so you have enough time to go ahead and look and figure out your answers. Let's do sine of t first. So if we're looking at angle T, we know sine. So remember, SOHCAHTOA. Just get in the habit of writing that word or that acronym on your sheet of paper. It's going to help you for the whole chapter that we do trig. So if we're talking about sine, that means opposite over hypotenuse. Our opposite side to angle T is 5, and our hypotenuse is 13. So looking at your answer key, the answer is going to be C. So tomorrow, when you come into class, you will put all of these answers into the clickers, and you will be graded on that. If you have any questions, please bring them to class tomorrow. Otherwise, thank you for watching the video. Here is the questions 7 through 12. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. And here are the questions 13 through 18. When you're done answering these questions on this slide, the video is complete.